The consequences of coal mining in South Africa is the destruction of the whole environmental system.
They've decided to pollute this area and to pollute its people.
We know that the water is polluted, but what are we supposed to do? We don't have anything else.
Money, human rights? Which one do you prefer?
Limpopo, South Africa's northernmost province, is home to Matimba, one of the world's largest coal power stations, with disastrous consequences for the local population.
The coal industry and the power station industry in South Africa are responsible for human rights violations.
Right next to the plant, the settlement of Marapong. The people came here in search of work, but to no avail. Instead, they are exposed to particulate matter and sulfur dioxide. Asthma and tuberculosis are widespread. There's no running water and no electricity. The power lines that span the settlement serve others.
Because communities are suffering and they have to do whatever they need by themselves. No one is supporting them, the government, even the municipality.
Power station.
Our kids grew up right next to the plant, and they get sick. This is just the beginning. Only a few kilometers away, the state-owned power supplier Eskom is planning to build another plant, Medupi. The first of 6 boilers is already up and running with support from Germany. According to a recent study conducted by Miserior, Makua, and ActionAid, German companies are extensively involved in the construction of coal plants in South Africa.
I think it's completely unfair that the Germans are cleaning up their own coal economy, creating a clean environment for themselves. Now their business people are coming here, investing in this power station, which is going to be the dirtiest in the Waterberg and lead to really catastrophic environmental consequences for the people who live here.
Bill Fingerberger is in on it, and Hitachi Power Europe, which is based in Duisburg, is joining as well, with support from the German KfW IPEX Bank and protected by an export credit guarantee from the German government. The raw materials are extracted close by in the Grootegeluk coal mine, a huge environmental disaster. What the future might hold for Limpopo is already visible here, only a few hours' drive away in Mpumalanga. There are already 12 coal-fired power plants in the province, and another one is due to open soon. Kusile is the name of the new power plant. Within the next year, the first of 6 boilers is due to join the grid. The farmers and their employees who used to live here were forced to relocate. However, some people welcome the new plant. I approve of the new plant. The young people finally have found work, and we all live in new houses now.
These jobs are not going to be with us for the next 100 years. These jobs are only for a short period of time, and they destroy the quality of the air, the soil, and after all, the workers themselves.
And when the plant is completed, we will be laid off and hungry again. All the power plants need resources, from small mines or big ones. The power plants pollute the environment and the water. Wells are running dry, leaving the residents with barely enough to survive. The little water that is left for them contains acid. The people use it anyway, risking their health because they have no alternative. I have lost a lot of teeth over the last few years. My immune system is weakened. The doctor told me that this is caused by the bad quality of our drinking water. Coal ruins your life, reads a billboard at the entrance to the village. We have 2 appointments with doctors. Both are canceled at short notice. The justification? They are afraid to lose their licenses for openly criticizing the government's economic policies. Back in Limpopo, here the worst could still be prevented if the new Medupi plant fulfilled modern technical standards. Sulfur dioxide emissions could be curbed significantly if the boilers were equipped with filters, as they are in Germany. But Eskom, the South African operator, obtained an exemption. In order to save money, Eskom is allowed to install the filters up to 6 years later. According to the study, this signifies a huge risk to the health of the population.
They did not do this by mistake. It was really clear strategic intention to save money, to pollute the people who live here, and to pollute these environments with sulfur.
We demand an explanation from the Department of Environmental Affairs in Pretoria. How come the South African government is still massively backing its coal industry a few months after the Paris Climate Agreement? And why are they skimping on filters in plants built with German support?
With the new power stations, we have gone as far as requiring installations of modern technology to address the emissions. So,
but without a scrubber, a sulfur scrubber?
There are some that don't have scrubbers, and others are planning to have scrubbers in the long term. But for example,
why in the long term? Why not directly?
I mean, the biggest problem we have currently is particulate matter across the country. That is the biggest concern. And all of the new power stations will be fitted with fabric filters. That is not an exception for all of them.
The problems caused by the coal industry are felt even beyond the surrounding settlements. Regional farmers are slowly but surely being cut off from the water reserves. Entire riverbeds are drying up. According to the study, the Medupi plant, once completed, will extract up to 12 million cubic meters a year from the Makolo River.
I will tell them, you cannot eat electricity, but you can eat food and from what you get out of the water.
Marapong the following day. Just outside the coal plant, a new tuberculosis clinic is opening its doors. It's been proven that elevated levels of sulfur dioxide in the air cause tuberculosis and asthma. Treating the symptoms instead of eliminating their cause. From an environmental activist perspective, this is cynical.
The better way is to shut down the new mines that they are proposing and the power station and focus on doing the renewable energy.
The country's vice president appears with his entourage. Critical questions are not welcome.
Ask a question. One question?
Let's move on.
Sorry?
Yeah, later on.
Okay.
Later on.
Okay.
Move. And I've warned you already. See, I've warned you already. We don't do that here. Just move on.
I just wanted to ask a question.
South Africa is a newly industrializing country with a growing demand for energy. As yet, coal power plants supply 90% of the country's electricity need, and this is not likely to change in the near future. Basic human rights and the protection of the environment don't seem to count for much. Environmentalists have a clear message to German companies investing in South Africa's coal industry.
I think the truth of the matter is that the Germans are acting in the interest of capital, not in the interest of the people of our country. They take out the problem out of their own country, they bring it down to South Africa, and they make it sure that probably they don't suffer the consequences. We have to suffer for those consequences.
An inquiry by Miserior produced only sporadic responses from the companies involved. No one in Germany is prepared to shoulder any blame for human rights violations in South Africa. Apparently, neither the German government nor the KfW IPEX Bank has thoroughly examined the risks involved.